So I'm Joshua Donko. I am the community tour guide and I will take you on this trip. So welcome to Shiare, the hanging village. The place is named Hanging Village by the colonial masters. When they came to Shiare here, they saw how the place is arranged, just as you are seeing now. It baffled them and asked why they decided to come here and reside. Shiare people are Achudis and they are part of Guans. Time immemorial, they were staying at Kwawu area around the Aflam Plains. Ethnic groups started arriving in Ghana. There was a need and a quest for land. So it brought about this conflict, these struggles, and intertribal war. And the people of Achude and the Guans, for instance, didn't like war. So what they did was to move away to areas that are safe and secure. So the Achudes moved and settled on top of this mountain. We call it the Getingelinsu mountain. That's where the people of Shiare first settled, under the leadership of Sei Mreku. Nana Sei, who first settled here, was the leader who brought them, and they settled on that mountain. In the view that when an enemy is coming, when they are on top of the mountain, they can see the enemy and then lay ambush and attack. But then the chief himself was not kept over there. He was hidden in a place known as the Chaminte Cave. At the Chaminte Cave, it's a place to be. Nice, very elaborate, and then very intriguing. He stayed there, and after a while, when nothing happened, they decided to leave the top of the mountain and come to the side of it, along the mountain, where nobody will know that there are human beings there. And of course, when you look around, mountains have surrounded the town, and the town itself is along the mountain. So nothing will crop your mind that there are human beings hiding here. So just because of safety and security, that's why they take refuge here. When you look at their buildings, they are along the mountain. So one will ask, so how do they build it on the mountain? Because what they do is, if this is a place they want to build, they will first dig. They will dig here a little, and then they will start laying the stones and making foundation. They will start from somewhere small here. As they are digging, they are getting a level ground and they keep piling the stones. So as the stones are piling and making the foundation, it is leveling the place. So they'll be digging and adding, digging and adding. So when you come, you watch a structure like this, you see that they level the stones. They plug the stones up to this level. And by getting this level, means that in front of the foundation will be a flat land. And that is where they will build the wall. As we move along, you see some areas. If it becomes too steep, the back, this side, when they are putting another structure here, they don't need a wall at the back again. They will only chisel this side and plaster it. And then, so they will lay another foundation to get it here. As we are going along, you keep watching the nature of how the structures are arranged, and this will crop your mind. You understand it better. As we move, we'll keep adding some of the challenges we have. Erosion is one of the major challenges. Erosion and drainage. You can see how this area has become. It's because of the runoff. As they move along, they remove the sand. Sometimes they also carry out the stones. When they remove the sand, it leaves the stones like this. When they also become weak, they fall off. And you find us. So just as I'm talking about, when you get a flat land like this, it means initially the landscape was like this. But as they dug and raised the foundation, they now got a flat land here. So as we go to, you will see this nature of the architectural design. Some of the houses will be facing this way. Those with a very steep backside. Then this side will also be facing this way. So this structure will be facing this way. As they dig, they'll get a flat land over here too and put another structure. So this becomes one step. And they arrange on top there, you see another step. And it's arranged in steps, in terraces. That's how it is. And then this place becomes the walkway for people living ahead. So in town here, when you pass through somebody's house, there is no dispute. The only thing is to greet them, because we live in unity with one another. When you don't greet, you see one person and you don't greet him, it means you are loggerhead with the person. The person can ask or summon you to come and explain what the problem is within you, that you don't talk to him or her. The people of Shiare moved here, and it's been more than 900 years. It's the oldest settlement in Nkwanta North and South, Nkwanta North District and Nkwanta South Municipality. Initially, people who live in adjoining communities will have to visit Shiare here to access education. In the olden days, this was where teachers stayed, like teachers' bungalow. So all the old teachers who taught in Shiare stayed here, most of them. Some time back, the national boss of ECG, Mr. Frimpong, hailed from Shiare here. So after his service, his end of service benefits, he said they should use it to extend electricity to Shiare. As a legacy, he's leaving for his people. And life was brought. People in this community are all farmers. They farm cassava, plantain, cocoyam, and most of the thing we do is beekeeping and honey production. And you want the best honey in the whole Ghana, you have to visit Shiare, the hanging village. And one other community, the community ahead, known as Chilinga. That's where you can get the best honey. That don't play with culture and tradition. They hold it the highest epics. Their way of worship is the worship of deity, the Brukum shrine. When we talk about Brukum, it is the god of Ghana. People ask, we've been hearing of the God of Israel, the God of Isaac, Jacob, and who is the God of Ghana? The God of Ghana is Brukum, and Shiare is where it is located. When you watch some of the documentaries, they will tell you it's in Kratche. It's because some time back, Shiare was under the Kratche district. So we say you are going to Kratche Nkwanta. But now, the moment you mention Shiare or you mention Nkwanta, you don't need to associate Shiare, Kratche with it. Of course, Nkwanta has not been the junction to Kratche, but it has rather been around the 1980s, 1970s, 1960s. When somebody is coming to Nkwanta, they'll say, I am going to Shiare Nkwanta. Yes. So people come all the way from a lot of places to Shiare to worship, to ask for protection, fortification, and a lot. When you have any problem, you come to Shiare, cleansing, for support, finance, trade, and even traveling. So they still come. Initially, as I said earlier on, we were around the eastern region where we had the Brukumbo time. So around the 14th century, when the people of Shiare were moving to this place, they have to do a lot of rituals to move the god from eastern region to Shiare. Though it's still a place, as people have known there to be the place of worship, they still go there to fellowship, to worship. But this is the head. All other gods around this area and around Ghana have their heads to be the Brukum. Because the Brukum is a mother of all other gods in Ghana. When people want to go to war, they come to Shiare to ask for how it will be. Will they be successful? And if they will, they will go ahead. If not, they have to get back. But they also ask for fortification so that their enemies don't overcome them. We have a lot, the Akans, the Asantes themselves, the Ewes, the Gunjes, they all came here for fortification before their wars. And in every war, people come here and go, they become victors. So during the defeat of the Asantes, they realized they have to come to Shiare for powers. So when you go everywhere and you talk of Brukum, they know of it, because this is the house of Brukum, the stay of Brukum, the god of Ghana. The Achudes are a peaceful people. One important thing you need to know about Achude, and especially Shiare, is that they hate blood. So people who come here for tourism, people who come here for fortification and a lot, when they come, we tell them the land hates blood. It is sacrilegious to pour blood on the ground, human blood. So even in case you have a quarrel with your fellow and then mistakenly you throw your hand, it hits the person, and then there's a blood ooze, you need to pacify, because the land hates blood. We don't whistle in this town because whistling is a sign of war to the people of Achude and Shiare in particular. So no whistling, no pounding of fufu at night. Of course, you know, fufu is their staple. It's the food they eat a lot. Somebody in Shiare can eat fufu in the morning, in the afternoon, and the evening. Even at night when you wake him up, he can eat fufu. We live in unity with one another in Shiare here. That is one thing you can also talk about. That is unique about the people of Achude. They are a peaceful people. When he has quarrel with you, he will make sure you settle it amicably. Even before he has to go to farm, he will go. So all the communities around, even up to Togo, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, they know of Achude people and Shiare in particular as a peaceful people, and they love one another. The hospitality is just unique. Here, somebody will ask, where is the cemetery? Or don't the people die? They do. But what happens is, when somebody dies, there is a ritual to do to determine whether the person is righteous or evil. If you are righteous, you are buried in town, unlike the evil people who are buried outside. The righteous are buried in town. It could be here, in their rooms, everywhere. They dig and then bury them which is a sign. It's a sign that they live, the dead still live with the living, even after death. It also motivates people to do good, because when you do good and you die, you are buried in town, you still live with the living. But when you are evil, you are buried outside, which means you are thrown out. So everybody wants to live with the living even after death. They will reincarnate. Their names will be given to the newborn babies, and people want to leave a legacy. Because of that, they will always want to do good so that they can still live with a living.